What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Johnpreneur YouTube channel. We got a very special video today. This is our first video interview with one of our students from Dropservice Academy. And if you guys aren't aware of what Dropservice Academy is, basically I have a mentorship and coaching program. We have over 70 people inside of that community now, and we teach and hold your hand to start your drop servicing business. And the majority of our students, they've started remote cleaning businesses. I personally started my first remote cleaning business in Miami when I moved out here in 2022. And then me and my partner, Mark, we actually started a second cleaning business in Nashville. I personally has never been to the city of Nashville or even the state of Tennessee, and we still have a cleaning business over there, crushing it. And we don't have to do anything hands-on when it comes to the labor. What we do is we drop service the actual work. So we're hiring independent contractors to go out and do all the cleanings for us, whether they're residential, commercial, Airbnb, post-construction, you name it. We outsource the work. We just do the hiring, the marketing, and the sales. But anyways, one of our students, Parker, he started his cleaning business in November, and I interviewed him for 30 minutes, and this was in January, so this was about a few weeks ago. We're going into February right now, and he's actually doing $15,000 a month for the month of February. But I interviewed him. Basically, he told me the entire story, his experience from starting the business to getting his first sale to where he's at today, the entire journey. We talk about it for about 20 minutes. If you guys are thinking about starting a remote cleaning business or any type of drop servicing business, and you've been watching my content for a while now, I 100% recommend that you watch this entire video in full, because Parker does an amazing job telling his story, and we go over everything that you need to know. He talks about how much money he spent getting everything set up. We talk about the hiring process. This was the first time ever Parker has ever interviewed anyone for a job. He goes over how he went about that. Parker goes over setting up everything that he had to get set up in order to get that first sale. He goes over that first sales call through Google LSA, that first inbound lead that he ever got. We talk about the commercial outreach that he's been doing recently, where he's landing massive contracts, multiple six-figure contracts of annual recurring revenue. Everything of his journey is talked about in this interview, so let's just get into it. And if you guys haven't subbed to the channel already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to like the video, make sure to comment. If you guys are interested in getting started, we have playlists of all this information as well, broken down in shorter content videos that you guys can check out. And one last thing, we have a free group that you guys can join. It's a free school group. It's called Dropservice 101. I'm gonna put the link for that in the description below. Basically, we have a free community, and we have two mini courses, one from me and now another one from Parker, where we lay out all the foundations, everything that you guys need to know to get started if you wanted to start a remote cleaning business or any type of drop servicing business. We have in the free group. Plus, you can be in direct contact with me. You can be in direct contact with my partner, Mark, the rest of our team, our students. Check it out, but let's get into this video.
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I'm happy to be on here, be able to give a testimonial. Obviously, there's a certain level of success that comes with even wanting a testimonial. And, I joined with my fiance, Emily, about 11 weeks ago now, maybe 12 weeks ago, something like that, just under 3 months. And we got started right away. We jumped in. I was doing some freelance work, some marketing stuff, some technical service stuff, some SaaS stuff, like really kind of playing around with a bunch of different things. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, but have really tried and crashed and burned with a lot of different business models that worked for other people, and they just weren't really working for me. I actually saw some of John's content, and it really just stirred me to start reaching out and getting some more information. Got some more info, took this to my fiance, said, hey, would you want to start a business with me? And she actually, for the first time, was like, yeah, let's do it. I had asked her many times in the past, and she never really was interested because she couldn't see the value in the business model, right? She didn't understand selling software. She didn't understand all this. But when I told her, hey, let's start a cleaning company, let's start a home service business, she was like, okay, I know home service. Like, that makes sense to me. I see value in that. Let's do it. So we jumped in. Fast forward, took us about 2 weeks to get everything set up and rolling. It was really a shockingly quick process. 2 weeks later, we were live. Our first day of real business within our company was November 20th. Yeah. So it's been just over 2 months now. It's January 25th while we're recording this. Our first month, we had 10 days of November. Right off the jump, we actually did a full $1,000 of revenue in our first 10 days. So right away, first 10 days, $1,000 of revenue. I was already pretty juiced on that, excited to be seeing those type of numbers that early. And then it's just only picked up from there. In December, we did $8,700 in revenue, our first full month of business. And in January now, with a week left, we've already done $9,000 in revenue. We're knocking on the doorstep for $10,000 in revenue in January. And we already have, I just added it up yesterday, we already have $5,500 of revenue on the books for February, and it hasn't even started yet. So it's looking like either this month or next month will be our first 10K month. And I only see up from there as we're adding more recurring customers, more commercial customers, all that. So that's kind of been our success story thus far. I don't know if you want me to jump into detail on anything in particular.
Yeah, so I want to talk about like what you've been doing on like the outreach side of things on top of like just like simply like the inbound with like Google local service ads. But I want to just piggyback before we get into that to what you were saying in the beginning. So you joined the academy November 6th, I believe, was when you made your introduction post. And you're actually one of like the quickest people to get everything set up. I mean, obviously, like there's a work ethic behind that, but November 6th, I believe, was when Parker joined. And then November 20th was when he went through the entire process of like building everything out. So the entire infrastructure. So
Like
if you
we
want
had a
to,
clean on the
oh,
20th.
you had a clip. So you had
Our
your first,
first clean was
yeah.
on the
So
20th. So
14
14
days.
days.
Yeah. 14 days. You went from, I want to start this to I'm already making money. If you want to just quickly like break down like in 2 minutes, like describe like what those 2 weeks look like and how you were able to achieve that. Because we have over 40, 50 students now, and the timeline that we give them is 3 weeks. Parker was able to do it in 14 days. So like that's why I wanted you to also be like the first testimonial. Just go in how you were able to achieve that.
Yeah. So first things first, follow the checklist, right? You join the group, you get in immediately. You and Mark laid out everything. You said, these are the steps. This is the order it has to be completed in. These are your high priority items. These are your low priority items. Get to it. So my fiance and I, we divided and conquered. She went right into the creative development side. Let's get logo. Let's get branding. Let's get a website built. Let's get social media set up. I went right into the technical side of things. Let's get background checks going. Let's get LLC filed, EIN filed. Let's get bank accounts opened. And then let's start hiring. So I handled all the technical and personnel side. She handled all the creative side. It definitely helped having her because, she did a lot of the creative stuff that would have taken me a long time. Now, that being said, there's resources within the group that will get that done for you. For a few $100, you can get certain things done so that you don't have to think about it at all. But I knew she had the skill set, so I just had her do it instead. But yeah, it was really just checking things off, going through the boxes in the order that they're presented, not skimping on something or getting distracted in the middle of a task, starting with the high priority things, starting with getting the LLC and EIN filed. And then immediately when you get that information, getting your background checks going, getting your open phone set up. There are things that take just truly buffer time. Like there's nothing you can do. All
Yeah.
you can do is sit there and wait for them to say, okay, thumbs up. So we jumped on those tasks right away. And then during the downtime, we spent that time doing the web development. We spent that time creating content, and we spent that time generating leads. So
Mhm.
this is when we started to put together a list of leads, put together people we wanted to reach out to, whether they were people we already knew in the community or businesses we had relationships with, or whether they were completely cold. And so once everything was done, it was about 10 days, everything was finished. Then right immediately on the hiring trail, we were hiring on the 16th, I think, had interviews on the 17th, found two providers that we liked. Paperwork was filled out on the 18th, 19th, over the weekend. And then 20th, they were in the door doing test cleans, actually creating revenue on that first Monday of the 20th. So yeah, it was fast paced, but I mean, we still had extra time. We weren't working 10 hours a day on that. It was more so being prompt and doing things right away and not waiting a week to start processes because a lot of it is just waiting time, waiting for different services to give you the A-OK to start.
Yeah, so you just took action. You knew you were given the blueprint, the step-by-step, the accountability plan of what you had to get done in that time frame, and then you checked those boxes off, and then it was a waiting game for maybe like your Google local service ads, getting that background check approved, getting your 5 reviews approved, stuff like that. And then in the meantime of that, you're like, cool, like Emily, we need the website. Like I'm gonna help you with like the creative side on that, like how I think it should look. We got the book and qual set up, everything like that. We got to hire cleaners. We were going through Nextdoor, Facebook groups, Indeed. And then it's like, as you're doing that, the things that you're waiting for to get accomplished, like the Google LSA, they get approved. And it's like, cool, now we already have cleaners because we were doing that while we were waiting for all these other prerequisites to get done. Now we can go live because we have the LSA set up, we have the bank account set up, we have the insurance, we have the cleaners. All we have to do is now turn on that inbound lead button, start dialing those cold outreach lists that you were building throughout the time as well. And then that's how you were able to get your first clean on the 20th, just from that process.
Yeah, yep. Our first clean on the 20th. We actually had a friend of a friend, mutual friend in the area who was like, yeah, I've been looking at a cleaning service, and we were like, hey, full transparency, we're going to send you a cleaner. We've never seen them clean before. They have experience. We vetted them. We know that they're not a criminal, but we haven't seen them clean before. So we're going to give you a really low rate on this clean. You'll basically just be paying the cost of the cleaner's time, and let's just get them in. You let us know how the quality of the clean looks, and we'll go from there. We got some test cleans in. Both of our brand new cleaners had test cleans on that first Monday, and then the floodgates were open. LSA was on, outreach was going. I think we had 7 or 8 cleans in our first 10 days. So at the end of November, and now 2 months later, I mean, we have 5 cleans a day sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And then before we get into what you're currently doing now, I know you just landed like a decent sized contract that I wanted to talk about as well, which is insane that you just did this in month 2. But from day 1, filing for the LLC to going live, like when you're ready to go, how much money did it cost you for like the setup to the startup cost of everything to get the business up? So like website, insurance, you have the soft phone that you're mentioning, you got the open phone. So now you have a second line that you're using specifically just for the cleans and like for your clients. So what was like the startup cost for that? So people have an idea of how much that would cost if they wanted to start a cleaning business.
I will tell you right now, it was
Like drum roll.
$288.46.
288. So how
Yep.
much of that was just like the LLC? Because you did it what, through Inkfile or?
Yep. And the LLC and expediting was 180 of that. So it cost $100 for everything else. $60 of insurance, $7 for a web domain, about $35 to get open phone running.
Space, like
And
stuff like
then,
that.
okay, so I did miss one other charge here with Booking Koala, but Booking Koala, I believe like the first month is free. So that wasn't
Yeah.
even
You get
included. So
like a
yeah,
14,
no.
yeah, you get a 14-day trial, and then like after that, it's $57 a month. But it's like, guys, you're
So
paying
even if you
60.
include that, $330, something like that, and I paid for an expedited LLC, I paid for some speedier service. You could get this up and running if you're not including Booking Koala for under $250.
And then that $250 investment turns you into $8,700 on the books in December. And now
Yeah,
you're coming close. You might hit 5 figures in January. You're not entirely sure yet, but you already have
definitely in
five,
February. Yeah.
definitely in February. Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think in February, probably a more realistic number would be 15,000. I think 10,000 is lowballing February. We've got 5,500 on the books now, and I'm barely even scheduling. It's almost all recurring. So, um, we're not even reinventing the wheel. We're not even doing anything special. We're not connected out here. My fiance and I moved to this city 4 months before starting this business. I mean, we don't know people here. We're not tapped into the industry. We're not tapped into cleaning or businesses. We knew like 5 people, five
Yeah.
individual people in our entire town when we started. So if you have relationships or you've been in a town for a long time, or you know people that are cleaners, or you know people that want your business, I mean, you could even dwarf our numbers. Like our numbers are just people that just followed the directions. That's it.
And I just wanted to make this clear. So like you've never done this before. You've never started a cleaning business before. There's no licensing that you have to get. Like there's no long process that you need to file for. And then like you said that you were hiring cleaners. You're not hiring W-2 employees. You're hiring subcontractors,
Yep.
independent contractors that are W-9s. So guys, if you wanted to start this, once you onboard these cleaners, whether you hire them through your Indeed or like maybe you have like a referral based community that you're like getting these potential cleaners from, you're basically just sending them over a contract that's breaking down high level everything that you're expecting for them to do, what the job's going to look like, what the pay structure is going to look like, whatever, how you organize that, how you do business with them. But then you're just shooting over a W-9 and then they fill that out. And it's like, cool. At the end of the year, you can either go through Stripe or if you have an accountant, they handle and send the 1099 to the worker where it's like, you're not responsible for their payroll taxes. So like, there's not this entire corporate structure that you guys have to stress about or worry about getting into. That's why it's called Dropservice, because you're basically, think of it like drop shipping. Like you have like Amazon drop shipping stores or through Spotify or not Spotify, Shopify. Instead of like a good that you're being a middleman for, you're middlemaning a service. So you're operating this entire business. Like Parker's doing the hiring, he's doing the marketing, he's doing the sales. I mean, he can automate that eventually down the road. Maybe he does $25,000 in March and he wants to plug in some virtual assistants that take on the hiring, marketing, and sales. But in the beginning, that's what you guys are going to be doing. And then when it comes to the actual like fulfillment of the business, where it's like the labor doing the cleans, you're hiring independent contractors that are qualified, that are vetted, that you guys are going to be onboarding, and then they're doing the cleans. So you're not actually like getting on your knees and like mopping or vacuuming or doing any of these deep cleans or Airbnb cleans or office cleans. You're hiring independent contractors that are high quality and equipped to do those jobs. They're bringing all the cleaning supplies to the jobs. They're bringing their vehicle of transportation. They're responsible and they're liable for gas. They're liable for supplies because at the end of the day, you're bringing in all the marketing, you're doing all the deals, and then you're providing them the opportunity to fill up their calendar with the work.
Yep. Yep. And we're operating right now around a 40% margin, which, on 10K a month, we're looking at like pulling in around 4K in profit, and our margins are lower than they will be. We're still giving good intro deals. We're still trying to grow as a business. Like we're still in the growth phase and we're already pulling 10K a month in revenue. And it's not even a matter of anything being optimized, anything being automated. None of that has even happened yet. This is just me sitting at my computer with my phone and my laptop, just making shit happen. And we're pulling in 5 figures a month.
It's crazy. So that number that you said in February, is that with the big deal that you just like locked in that you're closing on right now, the contract?
Yeah, so if we can get that under contract, I'm thinking we'll easily clear an extra 5 to 7 thousand in revenue from that one contract.
On top of the 5,500 that you were
On
getting
top
right
of the
now.
5,500 that's already on the books, plus every call that we get throughout the entire month. So yeah, that'll push us over 10K for February. That clean that our contract that John's talking about right now, I went out and was just cold calling one day, getting some outreach done, called an apartment complex. They were interested in replacing their existing cleaning service, went out there, toured, met the people, walked the units. We started talking pricing. They're going to be piecing us in to take over all their cleans. Little did I know at the time that I dialed the phone that they have 540 units under management alongside of two massive like clubhouses where they have gyms and office spaces and their leasing offices and their front desk area and all these large spaces. So we're taking over all their common space cleaning. We're taking over all their unit turns, which they do 25-ish turns a month. So you figure that's 300 turns a year. And that is actually only at one of the two complexes. So then add, I guess, another 25, double that, 600 turns a year alongside of 2 clubhouses. So that contract was literally me just sitting here, picking up my phone, dialing, doing outbound like we're told to, and was able to secure a contract that's probably worth over $100,000
Not to
in
mention, you
ARR.
followed up 12 days in a row. Like,
Yep.
guys, this isn't just like you're gonna start this and you're just gonna see immediate success. Like Parker's putting in work at the end of the day too. He called, he got connected, got another number that he was supposed to call and get in contact to, which was like a higher up that he was where he eventually met with him, saw the units, got a tour, and then was able to contract a deal. But it took him 12 days of consistency of calling that number before he can get in that room with someone that completely changed the course of his business for the year. Like he's adding possibly over $150,000 in annual recurring revenue because he was consistent for 12 days. So it's like, we're not going to lie to you and say like, this is the easiest thing that you guys can start. Like at the end of the day, Parker was on the phone for 12 days in a row, like being persistent to be able to lock in this deal.
Yeah, the way that I like to describe it is there are a lot of easier business models, but there are not a lot of more valuable business models, and there's not a lot of simpler business models, right? This is very simple. All we do, we take customers that need cleans and cleaners that need jobs, and we pair them together, and then we collect a fee. That's it. The model is extremely simple. It's not the easiest. There's setup, there's things involved. You're not just going to wake up and have 500K, sitting in your bank account doing this. But the other thing that is so different about this business model, and ultimately was the reason why we decided to start, is that if I were to walk away right now, if I were to say, I'm done, I'm not answering the phone anymore, I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing any more outbound, all my leads are off, all my ads are off, everything. And all I did was just send a couple follow-up texts a week, I would make $4,000 in revenue every month for the rest of the time that the business is alive.
And it's like, there's going to be conversation if he did that where, sorry, I just got a notification about Zoom. I'm just going to,
Yep.
yeah, no, there would be a part of the conversation while he's just following up with those X amount of clients where LSA is turned off, all outreach is out of the table, like just focusing specifically on those clients. He's going to get on the phone one day and they're like, oh, my sister wants to clean. Like he will probably still be getting word of mouth referrals. Like it's just still like an organic SEO optimized business where even if he's just keeping under the roof the fulfillment that he's taking care of right now, he probably will turn that 4,000 into 4,500 a month or 5,000 just from like organic referrals. And that's not what he wants to do. Obviously, he wants to grow this to multiple 6 figures a year in annual recurring revenue. He's already there. He's already at 150,000 from just one client. So who knows what Parker can capture in just 2024 alone. But like, this isn't something that you have to just like be on top of every single day. And like, it's like, oh, it's like the thing with this business that I really like about it is like the automation aspect where it's like, once you guys get to a certain revenue, anyone can start a business. But if you're working 30, 40 hours a week on that business, and yeah, like you're making 6 figures a year, like it's cool, like you're crushing it. But if you're working 40 hours a week on that business, that's not a business, that's a job. So what Parker is going to be doing is he's going to be hiring virtual assistants that are going to be coming in and they're going to be taking over sales. He's going to be writing up SOPs, series of procedures, where it's like, these are the types of businesses that I want you guys to get on the phone and just dial for 3 hours a day. I want you to be setting up these meetings. I'll be more than happy to get on these meetings that you guys book for me if you want. Like we could maybe spearhead that together, but I want you to be doing the dialing. I want you to be doing the hiring. This is the scripts that I have or the type of flow of conversation, the boxes that I want to check off when I want to be hiring new providers. So eventually Parker is going to be basically automating a lot of the hiring, marketing, and sales pillars of this business, where it's like now instead of him working maybe 20 to 30 hours a week, he's only focusing like 8 to 10. Maybe he wants to be a little bit more persistent and work 15 hours. But eventually this business is not going to be a job. It's going to be an actual business because he's automating it. He's delegating his roles that he's currently doing right now. Obviously, he wants to be doing everything that he can get his hands on in the beginning because as a business owner, as an operator, you want to be an expert in every single field of your business so you can actually properly delegate those roles to someone, because the goal at the end of the day is plug someone in that does just as good as a job that you would do, if not better. And like, that's what Parker's priority is right now. Just becoming an expert in every single field, every single vertical of the business. So eventually, maybe it's in 6 months, maybe it's in 3 months, where he plugs someone into that specific niche, that specific vertical of the business, with the expectation that if he goes on vacation for a month, he'll come back and he'll see that so-and-so's crushing in that role because he properly trained him. He gave him all the proper procedures, and he doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, 100%. It's only all in my control right now because I choose for it to be all in my control. I want to be hands-on, and I want to make sure that the foundation for the business is laid correctly. Now, we're already at over 35-star reviews. We have had no refunds. We've had, nothing like that, no chargebacks, no disputes, right? Our customer experience has been fantastic, barring maybe one or two weird circumstantial issues. And our cleaners are happy. We have very low turnover for cleaners. We're moving in the exact direction that I want a business that's attached to my name to be moving in. And I'm thinking about this in the light that I could spend 12 months working for a company and I could make $100,000 in that 12 months, right? Just making $8,000 a month every month. Or I could spend 12 months building this business, and maybe the first month I don't make anything. Maybe the second month, that's the month that we become profitable from all startup and everything. Okay, maybe we make a little bit. The third month, okay, we're making 4K. The fourth month, we're making 8K. Now, eventually, we get up to, by the end of those 12 months, we still probably made that same 100K that we were going to make, maybe slightly less, maybe more. But now, instead of 12 months of work with just 100K to show for it, I have 12 months of work with 100K to show for it, and a business that will perpetually generate me another 50K plus a year, every year, forever, even if I do no more work, even if I walked away from it right then. Now, obviously, I won't. I'm planning on building and scaling this business for 5, 10, 15 plus years, but I always feel that your time has much more value on a higher multiplier when you're putting it into something that actually still holds value. And it's one of the reasons why it wasn't drop shipping for me, and it wasn't, SMMA, and it wasn't some of these other agencies where it's like, when you stop doing the work, when you stop researching products, when you stop meeting with clients and actually outputting effort and energy, the business stops. There's no value. There's no innate value in those business models. We have innate value here. We could walk away from this at any time and put a capable VA in charge that, is doing simple tasks for a few $1,000 a month, and just sit back and collect on this as if it was a retirement distribution.
Yeah. And it's like, guys, momentum is such a important concept to understand. Parker is essentially building a vehicle of momentum over the next 10 months, like 365 days from now. I'm going to ask him that question as well before we end this, what his goal is on a monetary aspect of where he wants to be November 20th of 2024, because that'll be exactly a year. But guys, if you have a 9-to-5 job, maybe you like it, but maybe you think that you're capable of doing bigger and better things, your momentum is capped. Because like, if you work a job for 10 years, maybe you're just like getting a inflation raise promotion every 365 days, where it's like, inflation was 3.5% this year. You get a 3.5% raise. And for the deliverables that you had for your job, you get an additional 3 to 5%. But it's like, Parker built a business he's going to be building a business over a year, where it's like that inflation and increased value over the next 365 days is going to be a lot higher than where it was from the beginning of the snowball until where he pushed it to this point, because it's just going to be exponential. He has all the systems in place. He has all the SOPs in place. He has a plan now to be able to just scale, because he has the capability. He has the finances. He has the cash flow that's coming in, where now he can plug and play going into 2025. And you're just going to see that momentum just get carried. And you're just going to see this exponential shift in growth because now he's put in the work, he's put in the time, he's put in the energy, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week for an entire year to get to the point where now he can actually level up with this business and just set himself where maybe he wants to scale into a second location. He's already scaling into a second location, which is funny, but like not everyone's going to be doing that. But Parker's already looking bigger picture. He just expanded into what? What's the county called in Wisconsin? I'm not familiar.
Walworth County.
Yeah, so that went live yesterday, right?
Yeah, it went live. Ads got turned on yesterday. We haven't gotten a phone call there or done any outreach yet, but we have cleaners onboarded and we're already up to 8 cleaners on our business. And to answer your question in terms of where I see a year from starting, I would say I'd be happy with 50K a month by then. If
50K
this business was pulling in 50K
between
a
both
month,
locations.
yeah, in total, 50K in total. And that would be assuming our margins don't improve. That would mean, I'm pulling 20K a month in profit in 1 year's time. And that would be something I would be satisfied with. And I think I could do more. Genuinely, I think I could be higher than that. But there's really is no upper ceiling for this business model. We have captured 0.00001% of the market share, and we're already at 5 figures. So if we could capture 100x that, I don't know. I don't see why we couldn't be doing 100K a month.
And then we have 60 seconds left. So I just want to ask you this quick. So 50K a month, but what's your role going to be with your business by that point? Are you going to have an entire VA team that's going to be handling sales, going to be handling hiring, and your main focus is just going to be like scaling and seeing like what contracts you can get into? Like, are you going to be focusing more so on commercial?
Yep.
About 30 seconds, but if you want to just quickly talk.
Yeah, by that point, I will be only doing commercial. I'll only be touring 500 unit apartment complexes and trying to get those deals inked. VAs will be answering the phone, doing the hiring, doing the sales, doing the scheduling, and I'll just be handling the big money, the $100,000 conversations.
Awesome. Well, guys, if you want to get started, we're going to have a calendar in the bio. Check it out. We have like a video breaking down everything that we might have not already talked about, but yeah, let's get on a call.